Hello, everybody out there in YouTube. Once again, it is the three middle-aged dudes just bullshitting about nothing. I am the Reverend.
The theme here.
Gray Mouse 1.
Yep, and like usual, we're going to continue on our particular Geek Week in Review. Like we said, we had explained in some previous videos, not too much video game news. There was a few interesting things, but the majority of the news that's coming out from us this week is actually more reactions to the genre trailers that have come out, one of which was for Star Wars Rogue One. Everybody knows that there was a teaser that they put out, I believe, earlier this year. Then they went ahead just over I believe earlier this week during the Olympics. They went ahead and they debuted their full HD trailer for Rogue One. And we all got a chance to go ahead and watch it, in which case we're going to share our short thoughts. Maybe short thoughts. Guys, the floor is open. What do you think about it?
First of all, does this story actually need to be told?
I don't mind it. Considering that the whole of the saga centers around centuries old or millennial old conflict between two sides of the Force, and also an intergalactic war that spanned probably upwards of around a decade or so, maybe even multiple decades. There's a lot of information that can come out of it.
But I don't think this really will have anything to do with the Force.
Yeah, but the thing is, my thing about the way that I look at it is that let's go ahead and look at other war stories that exist in real life. I'm Filipino, so a lot of the war stories coming out of the Pacific Theater, within the Philippines, I kind of hit home to me. All right. Look, almost everybody in history goes out of their way, or anybody who knows, history for World War II and the Pacific Theater, they know everything ended with a bomb. There was the island hopping, and there was a lot of things that happened when the U.S. was fighting the Japanese and the Australians and everybody else in that area. All right. You're not going to hear about how the Filipino rebels were pretty much conscripted into the U.S. Naval Services, offered citizenship and benefits, which, by the way, they didn't get until 2008, 2010. A lot of, in fact, 90% of the soldiers who were offered that and took the states up on that offer, 90% of them never even saw the rewards for it. Excuse me. But I am very interested when I find out that they didn't even have guns to give out to these guys. Most of them, they just armed them with machetes and told them to go out and kill as many Japanese as they could find. Now, a lot of those are really, really small stories that that you're not going to hear about, and they're not as grandiose as, let's say, when MacArthur went ahead and he led the forces, the military forces into the Philippines and into the Pacific Theater and everything else like that. But that just kind of goes to show it illustrates that as far as some of the really, really good stories go, they're kind of hidden and cubbyholed away, and that even though we have those particular heroes of this war, this real war that happened, there are a lot of people who contributed and made their marks within that particular war. Now, if we go ahead and transfer that same idea over to Star Wars, sure, we have all of these characters and these heroes, both on Rebel Alliance and the high-ranking Imperial soldiers and everything, but that doesn't make, if we're to look at it in that context, a little bit smaller, it doesn't make, the other contributing stories, any less interesting, especially if they can tell it well.
Only if they can tell it well. See,
Yeah.
the difference between a war in between story and then releasing the Shrek series and then having a Puss in Boots movie. That's where I think that this is going as far as that. Yes, this can be a very good telling story. The problems with it is it's kind of like Halo Reach. You know the ending already. You just got to see how they get there.
Yeah.
How they get to their final moments, per se. Because none of these motherfuckers are going to make it. So,
no, if we believe everything from the very first movie all the way on up, as far as how they had emphasized getting a hold of the information for the Death Star and how incredibly important that was. Yeah, this group of heroes, if we actually get to know them and actually get attached to them, they're all going to die.
No one should be attached to any of these characters. No. It's just, no matter how badass they're going to be or how they're going to seem to be. And okay, look, in my opinion, and there's only one way this movie can end. And we'll get to that in a moment. Gray Mouse, how do you feel about it?
I feel the same way. I mean, we already know the ending. It's like, at this particular point in time, it's like reading a book backwards. I mean, we kind of know, it's already been told in the first, episode 4 on what happened, to get this information. But the thing is, though, is that I would like to see how it was done, So that's one. I mean, just like with your analogy with Halo Reach, we all knew what was going to happen, because I mean, remember Reach? I even think in the first Halo, I even think the ambient ambient conversation between soldiers and stuff during that game. They mentioned Reach, they mentioned this and this and this. So it's kind of, going back to Halo Reach, like you said, you already knew how it is, though. I mean, it didn't allow time to get attacked because you already know their fate, So,
okay, there's that. And then there's a side story like, again, the Shrek series and then Puss in Boots. Then there's, okay, we already knew that Anakin Skywalker is Darth Vader, but they had to tell a story on how he got there. And look how those stories were fucked up. So as far as I'm concerned, as long as they don't fuck up or mess up continuity or whatever, this should be fucking good. They can't stretch this to 2 or 3 movies. They better not try to do that.
It needs to end in one movie.
But in my opinion, there's only one fucking way it can end. They have to get to Anakin Vader, and Anakin Vader has to slaughter them. If they're going to be undercover and they're going to be getting past all these Imperial troops and all these Imperial motherfuckers that are there, the only way that they can be taken care of is by fucking Anakin Vader.
How are they going to get the Death Star plans anyway?
Okay, they got to get the plans, and they got to get the plans away. But in the course of doing so,
yeah,
that's the thing about it. In the course of doing so,
well, there's a lot of valid points. I mean, like you said, how does R2-D2 get the plan? Well, obviously,
R2-D2 how does plans by Princess Leia. She puts them into him. But the plans have to get to her and on that ship before anything else.
Exactly. And how did the Imperials, did they follow that ship? How do they know that ship that she was on that ship and the plans were on that ship?
It better not go like this, how they're on the big ship, and then they send out a little ship with an autopilot to get to them, and then that ship blows up. That better not be the case. Please don't let it go like that. But I don't see how, because she has to get these plans. That ship has to get these plans.
Yeah.
There can't be any survivors, though.
That's what I'm kind of worried about.
There could be one. There could be one. The one who actually gets it into Leia's hands.
But he has to die anyway.
He'll
Because
probably end up dead.
Leia,
Dying in Leia's arms.
Or on Leia's ship.
They'd be wounded and actually make it there.
Leia,
Before Vader shows up to that ship.
Or the way that Vader ends up in Leia's ship is that he follows the guy who actually makes it out.
That's what I mean.
You know,
and the guy makes it out and makes it to Leia and dies in her arms while handing over the plans.
or after he hands the plans over, ship gets boarded, he ends up getting shot, or he's one of the guys that Vader is fucking force choking in the fucking hallway before he comes out into before he goes after Princess Leia.
basically defending. Yeah, he's left behind to defend, pretty much like the rookie.
He goes through all that and ends up being a scrub.
Pretty much like
four.
It's Halo Reach all over again, dude.
No, here's the thing.
Lone Wolf. Remember that
Here's
mission?
the thing. No, here's the thing. All right. This is not a search and destroy mission. It's a fucking heist. Okay. What they need is they need subterfuge and some thieves, some good thieves. Guys, they don't need to do damage. They just need to get what they need and get what they need
and get out. Right.
Okay.
They're not there to fight. They're not there to blow up the Death Star. They're not there to take out. They're not looking for Emperor. They're not looking for Anakin Vader. They're not looking for any of that. All they're looking for is to fucking find the weakness of this thing and get it back to us, because this shit is a fucking big ass threat. That's what the Reverend is saying, and I understand that completely.
Yeah. You know, and look, if he ends up on that ship, or whoever escapes ends up on Princess Leia's ship, all right, like I said, fucking ship gets boarded, and they end up getting taken out by Vader as one of the first people to sit there and meet the boarding party, so be it. Okay. But here's the thing. The only thing that I worry about is whether or not they're going to inject anything that's going to sit there and change the core storyline of the already established canon.
Please don't do that.
Yeah.
They can't do that. I would hope they can't do that, because
Please don't do that.
I mean, especially when you got Princess Leia saying in episode 4 or 5, for that matter, that that everybody on this mission died for this cause.
Yeah.
I mean, she distinctly said that.
Not Princess Leia, but the other one woman that was there.
Mon Mothma.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. That many rebel agents had given their lives in order to get a hold of these plans.
She said that so straightforward that she couldn't even bring up any emotion at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just like, damn, okay, well, what happened? So that's what this story is about. It's like, damn, what actually happened to these people that actually got this information in these hands?
But the thing is, though, isn't in the trailer the guys who go on this mission are like kind of like a misfits, so to speak?
Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad.
Well, I kind of got that feeling, not Suicide Squad feeling, but like misfits. You know what I mean? Because they don't obey orders. I mean, she said that in the first trailer. So I don't know. I mean, honestly, I don't know. Did they consciously go and get those? You know what I mean? Because it's a suicide mission.
If they better not have hacked the Death Star or got these plans in a very stupid situation, or else.
Yeah. I mean, look, you're going in a briefing, that you're going to go steal the Death Star plans. You know damn well if you were one of those members, that's a death sentence. It's Suicide Squad. It's a suicide mission. In all honesty, when you're looking at it, and
what they're gonna send it to the ship by email. the plans of.
And then you're gonna find out that the ship is Mac compatible, just like Jeff Goldblum did in fucking Independence Day. No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
So
Look,
it's going to be interesting to see the story develop. And you know, like the Reverend was saying, this is one of those unsung hero type storylines that we know what happened because of the past movie or the past movies. But I am 100% for this. I'm really looking forward to seeing how they got the Death Star plans and how they got them back to Princess Leia.
On a final note with that though, don't make this about Anakin Vader.
It can be.
Just look, he shouldn't receive a lot of screen time or dialogue. Please do not try to make.
It should be towards the end, I think, when he'll show up.
Don't show him at the beginning. Look, okay, we know he's there. You already seen him in the trailer, but don't make this about him because that would be utterly ridiculous. We can't. No. And
well,
what
I don't think they're going to do that.
Storyline where they have him and his apprentice. No, don't do that.
I don't think they're going to do that simply because episode 1, 2, and 3. That was the story arc
That was
Anakin was turning to Vader, and then
that was Anakin Vader. What are they going to do the in between with the apprentice on the Force Unleashed?
No.
Would you guys care about that if they made a trilogy out of that? That's a 20-year gap.
let me say this right now. The one thing that bugged me about this particular trailer is the fact that they showed Vader at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Reason being is that having Vader as the center of the Star Wars universe and the linchpin upon which everything interacts and exists, and the reason why anything fucking happens, it blows his character up to such ungodly proportions that it's just he just happened to be a dark he just happened to turn to the dark side. Okay, it really, if
you just make it sound like
no, here's the thing: if George Lucas, if George Lucas had sat there and handled his prequels differently, where Darth Vader just happened to be some person who ended up being in that position, the commanding position, or that heavy hitter position later on in episodes 4, 5, and 6, the story would have ended up being a lot richer. He could have told more stories. He could have told a lot more stories. There were how many fucking Jedi did they show in the prequels? There was over a dozen different ones. How many of them did you actually know had names?
Hardly any.
3, 4 of them.
Mace.
Shit. Yeah, I didn't even know fucking Qui-Gon Jinn was the actual name of Liam Neeson's fucking character.
Right. Master Qui-Gon
fucking died.
Master Qui-Gon. Obi-Wan. There's Kit Fisto, Mace Windu. You didn't even know motherfuckers on the members of the fucking council.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You would think there's some roles of that's importance.
Yeah. Because they mentioned everything on Anakin Skywalker and on Darth Vader, and guess what? Because of that, it also made every member of the council, of the Jedi Council, fucking retarded. And it also made every fucking plan and every storyline as far as what was carrying out during the Clone Wars and the way that the Emperor took over everything really fucking retarded too.
That was so fucking stupid. It was just a way. Yeah, that. Please.
I am squarely in the camp, and this may not be very, very popular. I'm squarely in the camp that the less Vader, the better.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Don't make this about Vader. Don't push that to us, because no. We don't need it.
You were going to interject something there, Eddie? Gray Mouse?
No.
No.
Yeah, I've had enough of Vader. We had 6 movies, 7 movies, 6 movies about Vader. The rise and fall of Vader.
The fucking episode 7 was about him too.
Yeah, more or less.
Exactly,
man.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Vader. I mean, they should just call it Vader Wars or something.
Vader Wars.
Yeah.
I mean, it just, it is a tragic story of Anakin, I mean, with extreme circumstances and manipulation from the Emperor.
Manipulation? He was, look. Oh, no. Here's carrot.
But, yeah, I mean, I think 1, 2, and 3, I think Reverend hit the nail on the head, was that, it kind of makes 4, 5, and 6 null and void, because on how stupid, how didn't Yoda know that Vader was the Sith, or Anakin, or not Vader, what's his name, the Emperor? How did he not know that he's the guy who's pulling all the
on this Jedi Council figured that out? Sensed anything?
Yeah.
He cloaked them all.
Even Yoda. But so, like you said, Rogue One, it definitely needs no Vader, or very, very, very.
That's Vader in it already. It better be a little portion of him, because
he better not be in the middle of the movie. No. I don't even want to see him walking around.
It better have more Vader in this movie than it had Luke in Episode 7.
I'm to a point to where I don't even want Vader walking around. I don't even want to see him walking around.
No, I want to see him annihilate this crew, and that's it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, look, and that should take 2 minutes. Please, don't do a helicopter view with shining Vader. No, don't do that. Please. And you don't even have to have the lightsaber. No, just force choke or jettison them out to space with force. Something like that would do a lot of fucking good. But other than that, no, don't waste too much time with Vader, or don't tell any story with Vader. That'd be ridiculous. Don't have him connected to these people. No, don't have them try to turn each and one of them to the dark side. That wouldn't make any sense. Just have them show up, have them meet this Darth dude, and him just get rid of one of them, get away and hand the information, whatever. But no, don't make this about Vader, please. No.
Lordy. Yeah, all we want to know is, hey, how do they get this in the hands of Leia, so it eventually ends up in the memory banks of R2-D2?
Mm-hmm.
Really, and that's pretty much it.
And yeah.
Speaking of connected Star Wars news and sad news, Kenny Baker, the original actor who sat inside of the R2-D2 robot, and actually he played that role in all 6 original Star Wars movies. He died actually earlier this morning on the 13th of August, 2016.
Wait, didn't he do Episode 7 as well?
No, he wasn't in the robot for episodes.
Okay.
His health was actually
his health was failing at the time.
Yeah, his health was bad for actually years, and he actually ended up dying in his sleep, succumbing to, I believe he had like a chronic lung ailment that just made it impossible for him to do anything. So, and supposedly he'd been suffering through that for multiple years. And it's sad news, but it's something that I need to go ahead and bring up and add on to this, because the thing is that we're not going to sit there and talk about Star Wars on this particular date and not pay our respects, right. Especially since without the modern technology and everything else, he was very much key into making R2-D2 the iconic little memorable droid sold to kids worldwide and everything else. He was the one in the little suit, waddling around, losing pounds by the day from sweating it out in that thing. Interesting stuff,
Wow.
What are you guys' thoughts?
R2-D2. Okay, look. You talk about important characters. R2-D2 is a very important character in all of these Star Wars movies and even in certain Star Wars series. Without R2, certain things would not take place. Regardless of what happens to that little droid or him getting shot or electrocuted, whatever. Yes, all that happens.
Yep.
Still felt, it's funny how you felt emotionally connected to R2 more than you did any characters from the prequels. As far as anyone that looked, sounded, or even was remotely human or speaking English. It's hilarious that a little droid had so much significance and so much importance. I mean, come on. Everybody knows it sounds. It screams. You couldn't understand any whistling that he was doing. It was always translated somehow.
Oh.
But again, he was an important fucking character. That was something else. And for the wow, for a man to be in that suit and damn, hey, man, he made a droid very important.
He made a prop come to life, is what.
Yeah,
is what
I mean, I didn't like how how R2 was in the prequels, because they had him doing certain ridiculous things like flying and actually pouring like oil on droids and setting them on fire, and no, I didn't like that. But for episodes 4, 5, and 6 specifically, R2 was very fucking important. I mean, like I say, some shit wouldn't have happened or taken place, or even they wouldn't have gotten certain places without him.
Yep. What about you, Gray Mouse?
Yeah, I kind of echo what the theme was saying. But the prequels, I mean, Anakin made him. So
No.
it is
R2-D2 was already existing on Naboo.
Yeah. Anakin.
No, Anakin made 3PO.
Yeah.
You sure about that?
Yes.
100%?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Anyway, yeah, R2-D2 is a very important character, iconic character of the what do you call it? Of the Star Wars universe.
Franchise. Yeah.
And I could just imagine being, I'm not claustrophobic, but I couldn't imagine being stuck in that little, in that little robot for all that time, during the, filming the films and stuff. But got mad respect for the guy.
Remember when Yoda was beating on him? No, mine.
When Yoda was still a Muppet.
Oh yeah, when he was more magical and more of a character and more of, more interesting.
You guys definitely need to see the cartoon, the Clone Wars, if you haven't seen it already.
I'd rather stick to droids from the cartoon from the 80s. Droids and then Ewoks. I'll stick to that. No. Clone Wars is actually really, really fucking good.
Yeah.
It feels a lot of things in between, but
because again, R2-D2 had some important parts in that as well.
Yep. Considered canon also. Yeah. It's
considered canon.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, especially when you consider back in the 70s when the franchise was first started. They didn't have access to technology and CGI and green screen and everything else. So a lot of the moving parts and stuff like that, in order to bring it to life, they needed somebody sitting in the middle of a lot of that. And yeah, you know, R2 would not be the character and the iconic character that everybody knows today without the performance of Kenny Baker.
I mean, it's Kenny Baker, and then there's Anthony Daniels for 3PO.
Yep.
Those two guys, yeah, they made those droids come to life, and is, you know, and they were actually interesting characters that had a lot to do with the storyline and a lot to do with what was going on in the freaking series. It was just that simple.
Yep. Any other parting thoughts, guys, before we wrap this one up?
Kenny Baker did a great job, and rest in peace.
Rest in peace, indeed.
Yep.
All right. With that, I think we're going to go ahead and bring close to this particular video, folks. Thank you for spending, I think, the last 30 minutes or so and following us all the way up to the end. Like I said at the end of every video, hit like, hit subscribe, make a comment below, especially if there's anything that you want to go ahead and mention about Kenny Baker or about the Rogue One trailer, any sort of feedback, we welcome it all. With that, we are the three middle-aged guys. It's bullshitting about nothing, and we're ending our bullshit right here. I am the Reverend.
The theme here.
Gray Mouse 1.
Vader better not do. He better not force choke them all at the same time, or just have a lightsaber cut through like 4 of them at the same time through a force. No, please don't video game Vader in Rogue One. Don't do that. And no, just please. Please don't. I'm just thinking of other ways they can actually make Vader the star of this fucking movie. And I'm like, no, you better not. I wonder how much money James Earl Jones is going to be for every word, earn for every word that he speaks as Vader.
Probably more than what I make in a year.
I know, right?
Yeah. Well,
shit, you talk about another icon. Man, Darth Vader. Fuck. Anakin Vader is gonna, I don't know, that red glow stick and yeah. Shit. I tried not to just go into that, but yeah, just the less Vader, the more, you know, positive it's gonna be. Just don't make it about him. Credits.
You know, they could go ahead and bring out the Disney version of Vader. You know, the one who sits there and dances on stage and plays with all the little kids. Look up the video. You'll know what I'm talking about.
No, thanks. I'm not doing that. That sounds ridiculous. No. No Jedi or Sith Lord should be dancing with children. I'm not hearing any of that with a lightsaber in his hand. Forcing people to dance. No, not hearing that. Fuck that.